Welcome back, everyone, to the Vapor Sports Podcast. It has been a while. What has it been, like month and a half, maybe even 2 months now? It's been a while. A lot of stuff has happened. I'm not even gonna try to cover everything that's happened. So much has gone on. So what we're gonna do now? I was gone. I finished finals. School was kind of getting a little crazy there, but I'm back. I'm back now. We're gonna finish out the year all the way up until the Super Bowl. We'll have weekly videos. So stick around for that. Instead of trying to catch up or anything, we're just gonna jump right into, it like we've been in it the whole time. So we're gonna do our predictions for this coming week of NFL play, week 15, I believe. So we're not even gonna talk about week 14. So let's jump right into it. I'm thinking we're gonna do like some more separate videos in terms of the reactions and power rankings and predictions. So let's just jump into these predictions, shall we? So let's start with Chargers at Raiders. That is tonight, Thursday night football. Chargers have been looking even worse than they were before we last spoke. And the Raiders recently fired their defensive coordinator. And I think these are two teams that are really just trying to find their identities right now. So I'm gonna go with the team that just has a little bit more fight. They're a little bit more complete. I think I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one.
Yeah, I would like to say I still remember the Chargers-Raiders game a few months ago. That was really entertaining down to the wire. And I think this one will be kind of similar, but I do think the Raiders are the better team right now, and we'll pull this one out.
Yeah, and we got two Saturday games. First time this year.
Yep.
As you know, they do some Saturday games. And Drew Lock and my Broncos are coming off a very nice offensive performance, and honestly not too bad defensively, even though the score would say otherwise. And unfortunately, after they finally had a really complete game, they have to go play the Bills. And they're at home, so that helps. I think people are saying that the Bills are going to annihilate the Broncos. I, of course, don't think so. The Broncos have been blown out, once? And that was against the Chiefs earlier in the year. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think the Broncos have, there's nothing that would tell me the Broncos are going to win. So I'm going Bills pretty easily in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Bills as well. They beat my Steelers on Sunday.
That's right.
They look really good, honestly. I think Josh Allen's kind of finding his groove right now. Defense is looking spectacular. I think they're on the right track right now, and I think they will take this one.
Yeah, and then the second Saturday game, the evening game, we got the Panthers at the Packers. Panthers, of course, coming off the loss to my Broncos. And the Packers coming off a win, I believe, against the Lions. Aaron Rodgers is playing well as usual. I don't think this is too hard. I think it's going to be Packers pretty safely.
Yeah, I'm really liking that Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams connection.
Right,
Devontae
yeah.
Adams is playing lights out. I remember watching him against the Eagles, and he was just tearing it up against Jalen Hurts and that kind of rebuilding Eagles team. They did the same thing against the Lions last week. That was a little closer, but I think they're going to also pull this one out as well. I think the Panthers are still a dangerous team, but not enough against A-Rod.
Yeah, so moving on to Sunday morning, we got the Texans at the Colts. I love Deshaun Watson, but I think the Colts D is just too good, and the Texans D is too bad for the Colts to lose this. So I think it's going to be Colts easily enough.
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to win this one as well. I was going to say about the Colts, I'm really liking how Philip Rivers is starting to kind of adjust more to what defenses they're giving him. Kind of at the beginning of the season, he was a little sloppy, and I think it's just because of his age, but he's starting to find kind of that rhythm in his passes, and it's worked against a lot of tough teams. I don't think it's going to change at all against Houston. So
yeah,
I'm Colts.
Definitely, and I'll be interested to see how he plays if they make the postseason, which there's a good chance of. Lions at Titans. Derrick Henry coming off once again another monster game. It seems like every other week now he's hitting 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is just ridiculous to do that consistently. So I think Derrick Henry just runs all over the poor Lions defense, and I'm gonna go Titans in a blowout.
Yeah, the Titans looked pretty impressive against Jacksonville. They did suffer a loss to Cleveland, but that was more of like a high scoring game. Like Logan said, I think I'm gonna go with the Titans here.
Yeah, and then we got the Bears at the Vikings. The Bears, of course, starting off 5-1, and now they've gone, I believe, 1-6 in the past 7 games. So not very good. And then the Vikings have, they've turned things around. They found something really nice in Dalvin Cook. You could make an argument that he's the best back in the league. So, I mean, this is 2 teams that, 10 weeks ago were in different places, but now, trending in very different directions. I think the Vikings are going to win handily enough. I think the Bears could give them a run for their money, though.
Yeah, I like the Vikings in this one. I'm not really that impressed with the Bears. I was at the beginning of the year, but it doesn't really seem like the same kind of energy and kind of performance that they're putting is really something that I would be worried about. I think the Vikings are definitely in contention as far as making a wild card spot. They just have to, close out these games they have coming up.
Right. All right. So if you look at the records, they've changed quite a bit from when we last spoke. We've had quite a few disagreements. We've still done our predictions while we were gone, but this week we only have one. So of course, when we come back, that's when it gets a little less interesting. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So we got Seahawks at Washington, and I'm gonna go Washington, and here's why. Their defense is playing lights out right now. They have a sneaky good front 7. Possibly, I would make the argument, maybe even a top 5 defensive line in the league. And I don't know if Alex Smith is gonna play, but Washington is just such a well-coached team, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks won. But Washington's impressed me lately, man. I don't want to pick against them, so I'm going Washington.
Yeah, I really think this matchup's, kind of underrated. I would say though that Seattle has had some problems with NFC East teams. The first one being the Giants. Their offense really didn't generate enough, yards. We talk a lot about like DK Metcalf and that Russell Wilson connection, but some weeks it's really good, and then some weeks it just doesn't really happen.
Right.
I'm going to go with the Seahawks here just because, I think record, but I would not be surprised at all if Washington pulls off an upset here with their defense.
Yeah, man. I just don't want to bet against Washington anymore. I think.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We got Patriots at Dolphins. The Patriots won this one at home at the beginning of the year, and I remember after that first game, everyone was saying Cam Newton's back. Cam Newton's back. He's doing his thing. And then, of course, their season has gone how it's gone. It was a bit of a low spot in the middle of the year, but they've picked things back up. They're in the hunt right now. And the Dolphins are in a similar position, but they played pretty well all year. They really gave the Chiefs a run for their money. 3 interceptions against Patrick Mahomes. That's unheard of. That's impressive. And I know that Cam Newton's going to make more mistakes throwing the ball, at least, if he does end up throwing the ball, of course. I think Dolphins win this one pretty easily. The Patriots just can't throw the ball enough.
Yeah, I really was watching the Fins and Chiefs game and would say that, the defense really did a good job. I think, forcing those turnovers from Mahomes, I don't think that's going to change at all against Cam Newton, just considering that the Patriots lost pretty badly to a really good Rams team right now. And the Fins are kind of more on the trending side. Patriots are not so much. So I think I'm going to go Miami here.
Yeah. All right. Jaguars at Ravens. Ravens coming off possibly what people are saying is the game of the year, maybe game of the decade even. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was one of the best games I have seen in recent years for sure. Ravens playing the Jaguars. I don't think this is too much competition, honestly. The Jaguars are tanking as much as they can for that second spot right after the Jets, so Ravens pretty easily.
Yeah, I like the Ravens here as well. That Cleveland game was like really entertaining. I just really liked how Both sides were moving the ball. It was a really high scoring game, so there wasn't really like much of a factor where the defense would be like the game changer. But I do think that the Ravens are playing pretty well right now, and they will pretty easily beat Jacksonville. So
Yeah, all right. We got the Buccaneers at the Falcons. This is an interesting matchup, and honestly, a part of me really wants to choose the Falcons. Um, because the Falcons are really just such a wild card of a team because they're sneaky good, despite what their record says, in my opinion. But of course, the Buccaneers. I think Tom Brady's going to get a hold of the team, and I think they're going to make, they're down the stretch. They're going to be a lot better. But I would not be surprised if the Falcons ran away with this one. But going Bucks, safe pick here.
yeah, I was going to say about the Falcons. They've had some pretty interesting results over this month of November. Blowout win against Las Vegas. I think
Right,
they
yeah.
lost to the Saints pretty close. They just lost to the Chargers. It sounds like Julio Jones is missing a few practices due to some injury. I'm not really sure. But I think Tom Brady's going to have a good game in this one. So I'm going Tampa Bay.
Yeah. We got 49ers at Cowboys. These are two teams that have been honestly quite disappointing this year. And honestly, believe it or not, I had trouble picking the 49ers, but I think what it really came down to for me, considering that both these teams are, injured pretty, they're not in the best shape, especially the 49ers, but the Cowboys they don't have Dak Prescott. So the only thing that made me choose a team was the coaching, in my opinion. I think Kyle Shanahan is a much better coach than McCarthy. So I'm gonna go 49ers here. This will be a really interesting game that not a lot of people I think will notice.
Yeah, I picked the 49ers a few weeks ago to beat the Bills. That didn't really turn out so great. I was hoping they would. They look like a dangerous team, but they've had some pretty close games and
Yeah.
unfortunately losses. But I do think they will get the win on this one. It does sound like George Kittle will be coming back from IR, but I don't think he'll be back this week. But I'm still going to 49ers in this one.
Yeah. All right. So we got Eagles at Cardinals, and the Eagles coming off one of the biggest upsets probably of this year. Jalen Hurts coming off the bench, just having like 167 yards and then 106 yards rushing. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Of course, and the Eagles had an 82-yard run against a team that was giving up less than 82 yards a game on the ground in one play, which was insane, man. I was at work and I was watching just the box score. Wow, what a thing to behold. And I love Jalen. I'm an Alabama fan myself. Love him. But I don't know, man. I think the Cardinals, they have what they need on Jalen Hurts in terms of some film, at least enough that they can slow him down. But wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles ran away with this.
Yeah, I really liked Jalen Hurts against the Saints. He was making plays in passing as well as on the ground. He kind of has like that Kyler Murray dimension to him, which is kind of why I like this matchup. But I do think experience comes into the picture here. I think the Cardinals, they had that loss to the Rams a few weeks ago, and I think they've been able to kind of figure it out after that. So I'm going to go Arizona here.
Okay. Moving on, we got the Jets at the Rams. I'm going with the Rams. And you're going with the Rams.
Yeah, Rams, obviously. This isn't really discussion.
Chiefs at Saints. Oh, boy. I am looking forward to this one. Boy, I would be looking forward to it more if the Saints, of course, were coming off a win against a not-so-good Eagles team. But, nonetheless, it's the number one seed, and are the Saints still the number one seed? I don't know if they still are. They were the number one seed last week. But, hey, you know what? Still crazy good matchup. I'm gonna catch this one for sure if I can. Boy, this is hard. I mean, I think the Chiefs, obviously they have Patrick Mahomes. They can throw the ball whenever they want. And the Saints, are they starting Taysom Hill again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's the Chiefs pretty easily. You can't beat the Chiefs with Taysom Hill, in my opinion. As good as the Saints are, you can only slow Taysom Hill down, for so much time. So, I think Chiefs pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs as well. Again, they beat Miami last week, and the Saints didn't really look that great. I mean, they put up a fight against the Eagles, but it wasn't like they weren't really like looking legit as far as their offense.
Right,
It
right.
sounds like Drew Brees will be coming back. However, it's not really clear when. I don't think it'll be this week. So I'm gonna go Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes for this one.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe pick. We got the Browns at the Giants, and the Giants had about 1 week of hope, and that kind of all went away last week. They're back to their normal NFC East standards in terms of when they think their team will win. And the Browns played a really good game against the Ravens, so I'm gonna go Browns on this one.
Yeah, I do like the Browns here. Again, they put up a really good game against Baltimore. I thought, both teams in that game had a chance to win. Unfortunately, went down to the wire for Baltimore. Giants, I don't know. They've been kind of mediocre right now. Again, they did beat the Seahawks a few weeks ago, but I'm going to go Cleveland here. So,
Yep,
yeah.
and then we got our Monday Night Football matchup. We got the Steelers at the Bengals. I think at the beginning of the year, the NFL scheduled this game because they thought Joe Burrow would be playing, obviously. Bengals, not much of anything going on without Joe Burrow. So, Steelers coming off of two pretty bad losses. I mean, they played the Bills, and that's a very good team. It was a respectable loss, but a loss to Washington was a little disappointing for the Steelers and for their fans. But I think it's good. They get the Bengals late. They get a get-right game. They can finish their last 2 or 3 games strong and hopefully make a run in the postseason. This game came at a good time for them, so I'm going Steelers.
Yeah, as a Steelers fan, it's kind of been a rocky as far as, how I've judged them. Rocky 2 weeks. Again, that loss to Washington, I wasn't really expecting. I thought that would be uh, a win. And then the one against the Bills, I know I was a little worried because I know the Bills were a good team, and I just remember watching the start of that game, and I was getting annoyed by their receiver Deontay Johnson. He had some drops, and he was benched, I think, for a few drives. They can't afford those kinds of mistakes.
Yeah.
Those are like little things, especially you can't afford those mistakes against better teams. But I do think the Steelers will uh, win this one against Cincinnati. So
Yeah, 2 things before we get out of here. That's their picks. I want to pick your brain on this, and I want to keep it brief. But what is your opinion on kind of that the whole Steelers TikTok trend and where they're going and Juju's dancing on the logo and they're doing all these dances in the locker room, and it annoys a lot of people, and I can understand why. And a lot of people have their theories on why they're doing it, and I just think it's for the clout when it comes down to it. It's just a social media thing, and yeah, I think it's a little disrespectful, but it. I want to pick your brain on it as a Steelers fan. I'm wondering what a Steelers fan thinks about that. Because you probably view it a little differently.
yeah, the thing is, I have heard about some of that stuff, and it's not really those kinds of things are off the field. Whatever, doesn't matter. But what I would say is that if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, you better prove it on the field. Like you better, if
Right.
you're gonna dance on someone's logo, you better come out with the win because you don't want to get trolled for that. That's what the Bills did. I heard. I don't know. Some of the defensive backs on their team were like, we heard about that news, and that didn't. That kind of motivation is what they need. That's all they need.
Yeah, you don't want to
So
give that.
if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, you better prove it. That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all
Right.
against the Bills. But it happens. It's for the entertainment. So
Yeah, I
whatever
definitely
gives
think
us
it's a little less
entertainment, go
harmless.
ahead.
And before we get out of here, I just want to mention a little shout out to some college football here. The Alabama Crimson Tide is going to be playing the Florida Gators this weekend in the SEC Championship for, I believe, the 10th time. And Alabama is going to fucking destroy them. I don't know. They're 17.5-point favorites. I think Alabama will cover. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. But I think it's similar to LSU last year, where whether Alabama wins or not, I think they're in the playoff. And I think they beat Florida by 30. And maybe closer to 24-20. But I think they're going to cover, and I think it's not going to be very close. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. a bit of college football. I think next year, as we kind of maybe get a better feel for the show, we can add some college football. And we had a few basketball videos at the very beginning when the postseason wrapping up, as basketball starting again. So we'll probably do some of those videos in the off season for football. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us today. That was our predictions. Yeah, I mean, not a. Other than the Chiefs-Saints game, I don't think there are any like super intriguing matchups or anything. But that'll be all for us today. We will hopefully see you next week with some reactions to some of the games from Week 15. But glad to be back, guys. Glad to be back. It's really nice to be making these videos with Tate. But that's it for us today, guys.
Yep.
Leave a like, subscribe. Join the Discord below. We have, if you want to play video games with the boys, talk some football, basketball, whatever it is. It's all there. But that'll be it for us. We'll see you guys next time.
See you.